about what it is that you do and tell us a little bit about why you wanted to redo your website.
Okay. Well, I'm a watercolor and hand lettering artist. I live just outside of Virginia, and I also do Pinterest consulting and account management. And I wanted a fresh website because last year, at the beginning of last year, I had been a virtual assistant for close to 8 years. And I picked three things just for the heck of it, just because I could, three things that I had tried in the past, didn't like creatively, and decided to give them the whole year. Figured if I still hated them, at least I'd given them a fair shot. And it turned out that I really, really fell in love with them. And hey, I want to be an artist when I grow up. So I needed a fresh new website to really send the message that my business has changed. I've changed. Things are changing. Like there's a shift here. And I wanted to play on a bigger level. I started my VA business by teaching myself how to do WordPress. And so I'm familiar with WordPress. I'm familiar with changing themes a little too much. I'm kind of notorious for changing my theme more often than college guys change their underwear. So and it's really bad. Like I had several websites that I liked to get themes from, and every time they had a new one, I would go check out the new one, even if I had just updated my theme. And so I'd get like FOMO really bad if I couldn't afford one at the moment. And I thought, okay, you know what? I don't see any of the big people doing that with their websites. They get it, they settle on a look, and they leave it that way for a while. A couple of years down the road, they might change things up, but it's always a big change. It's not like, oh, hey, I changed my theme. And so I decided that it was really time, and I had watched you do April Bowles-Olin's website, and it looked fantastic. And I had seen you work with several other people, and so I already knew who I wanted to work with, so that made it easy, and that's how that got started.
So when it comes to doing this as a consulting thing, as opposed to me actually doing your website for you, did you have any hesitations about that? And if so, what were they?
Oh, I thought I was going to have to do all like my own coding and stuff. And I was like, nope, can't do that. Because if I could do that, I would have already done my website. And so I thought it was going to be like super techy, and like I am okay with tech to a point. And then there are other things like Pop-Up Ally that just freak me out for whatever reason. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And I thought it was going to be like Pop-Up Ally on steroids. And I was just going to get in there and be overwhelmed and freak myself out and bail. And then my website would look like poop. And I didn't want my website to look like poop, and I'd seen everybody else's websites looking so nice. My other fear was that I would struggle to come up with something original for my website, having seen all of the nice things that had been done with everybody else's websites. Because, like we've all seen the people that are obviously fans of Marie Forleo.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen those websites. You get on there and you're like, oh, I know who you follow. Mm-hmm. Went to B school, huh? Got it. Didn't want that to happen with my website. So that was my other fear, is that I would be incapable of originality.
So what was your favorite part of working with me through the consulting?
I really liked the homework and how you broke it down. Was very clear, like I need this done by next Thursday. That made it, that cleared up the process so much, made it a lot less overwhelming, and it put the impetus on me. Like, hey, guess what? If your website stalls out and you don't get to launch on time, it's on you. So it was a little like gentle kick in the pants, like keep the ball rolling here. So I liked that.
So was it the accountability aspect of it?
Yes.
Okay.
I liked the accountability, and I liked how much it pushed me creatively. If you had told me a year ago that I would have designed my own logo, I would have been like, you're right. Nah, that's not happening. I wouldn't, if you had told me a year ago that I would be buckling down and taking 1,000 photos for my own website. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have believed you on that either. So this definitely pushed me creatively in ways that I hadn't been pushed before. And I found things that I didn't know I enjoyed doing. Like I didn't realize I enjoyed photography so much, but a friend saw me taking pictures of props and stuff for my website. And she said, I don't think I've ever seen you so happy. She said, this is the happiest I've ever seen you be working. You need to like do more of this.
So explain more about the photo part of it. I know what we did, but I want to hear from you. Explain about the process, how you felt during the process, like where you got stuck and how I helped you. Just go into that a little bit more.
Okay. Well, I take photos a lot. I do my own photos for Instagram. I've been taking photos for my own website for a while. And I've taken my own headshots before, but I get a little stuck on how to make them not boring. Like there's so many very corporate-y headshots out there. And then there's the other people that are like, hi, I'm quirky. And I didn't want to be on either end of that spectrum. So I was trying to find that balance. Like, how do I convey that, yes, I am very professional and you should work with me because, hello, I'm awesome. But still convey like, and I'm also colorful and I've got a heck of a personality, without it being crazy and over the top. So I wanted to find that balance. So that was part of it. But I kept taking photos in such small batches that it was dragging everything down. So that's when Amanda Creek recommended that I take 1,000 photos. Actually, we were originally aiming for 2. We were originally aiming for 2,000, but the week that I was taking pictures, it would not stop raining. We were going through like a monsoon season in Virginia or something. And so it would get to about 11 o'clock in the morning and my office would look like it was 5 or 6 o'clock at night because it was so rainy outside. So we ended up knocking it down to 1,000 because if I'd kept up with the original 2,000 goal, I would have been still working on this probably. So that was part of it. And then the other hitch that I ran into were the pictures of me because I'm less experienced at taking pictures of people than I am anything else. I'm less experienced taking pictures of me than I am of any other kinds of pictures of people. And then I have health things that I deal with, including a heat intolerance. And it's summertime, it's hot here, it's humid. And so I would be outside for about 5 minutes and my face would be beet red. And so it was taking crazy amounts of editing to combat that. And so there were several things that we had to work through. But every time I ran into a hitch, I would talk to Amanda Creek and she would say, okay, well, you just bought props from Target. Have you taken pictures of those yet? No, I haven't. Okay, have you taken any pictures of this paired with this? Have you tried this? She would also look through my photos. So I was uploading them to Dropbox before I edited them. And she would look through them and go, okay, I like this one, I like this one. Okay, I love this prop right here. I want to see more of this. And I had like just a regular yellow notepad, and I would sit and scribble down, okay, photo 127, more with that. Photo 133, different background. And it was taking copious amounts of notes based on everything that she was telling me so that I didn't have to wade through my Dropbox. And then on my next photo shoot, I would take that list and go, okay, all right, photo 123. Okay, what was photo 123? Photo 123. Okay. Oh, that's right. I had it with the white background. Okay, and I would grab my slate board and duplicate the exact same shoot, but with a different backdrop. Or I would go, okay, that was with the starlight. Okay, let's do more pictures with the starlight. And so I just took that and ran with it, and that's how we came up with 1,000 photos, which then got culled down to 595, which I edited over a weekend, like a crazy person.
You did it. You did it.
I did it. Yes, I did. Once I made the action, that helped a lot.
Yeah, true. So tell me about, you said that you had some, resistance to using Pop-Up Ally, and you were worried about it, the whole process maybe being a little too techy and whatnot, because this was through consulting. So tell me how that part of it felt for you.
So I'm like in the middle ground in techie. I'm not like a complete Luddite. I'm pretty comfortable with tech, but to a degree. There hits a point where, it's like, I'm not my dad either. My dad does computer programming, and he'll talk about stuff, and my eyes are just glazing over like, okay, what, Dad? What was that? And so I was afraid that this would be like that, where the explanations would get too technical and I would just be completely lost. And that didn't end up happening. Actually, once we dug into all of this together, it was pretty easy to understand how it all worked. Pop-Up Ally actually didn't end up being too terribly scary either. I thought I would really struggle to make one, and I think I've made 3. Like I've made 3 of them now. So, and I'm actually looking at places where I could put in other ones because it's
pop-up forms, right?
Yeah,
or opt-ins.
Yeah, pop-up forms. Yeah, trying to figure out like how I can use those for content upgrades for blog posts and things like that. So that turned out to be a lot less scary than I thought. It was kind of like algebra, all over again. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it actually was. Still not my favorite thing, but we can kind of get along a little bit now.
Yeah. And then tell me about how you felt like when it came to launch day and getting everything done and putting this website out into the world and all your hard work and so much time doing. How did you feel?
Okay, so that came with a couple of different issues. First off, I gave myself a psychotically short deadline.
It was pretty short.
As I tend to do. So that was the first thing. Like I put unnecessary pressure on myself because I came up with this crazy short deadline, comparatively speaking. And then the other issue is that I'm kind of notorious for doing what I fondly refer to as confetti launches, where I'm just I put all of the work and effort into something, and then I'm kind of like, I made something. Confetti in my living room, call it good. Hey babe, guess what? I made something. Yay, let's see the movie. And then I am terrible at telling everybody, and I didn't want that to be the case this time. And so I had already started beforehand, talking about Instagram stories, incessantly on Instagram stories. Like it was almost the running joke, like, just in case you haven't heard, July 14th, that's right. You know it. My site's coming back. And so, sorry, it was almost funny by the time it got down to like a week away from it, because I had mentioned it so many times in Instagram stories. And the great thing with Instagram stories is like they're all of 15 seconds. They only last 24 hours, and half of my people probably didn't see them anyway. So it probably wasn't as repetitive as it felt. But it was funny, and I talked about it on Instagram stories. I talked about it on Twitter. I posted in my feed about it. I talked about it on my Facebook page. I talked about it on an Instagram TV episode. And so I was sharing up to it. I was talking about how I was working on my logos. I would tell everybody, I took 1,000 pictures. Guess what? I edited 595 pictures. So I was keeping people posted about it a little bit. I probably could have marketed it even more leading up to it, done a few more teasers. But the day of the actual launch, that one was nuts, because the day of the actual launch, Amanda Creek had something that she had to do that morning, and I had an Apple Bar appointment because my phone was being completely nutso.
Crazy.
And so I had to go to the Genius Bar. And so we actually didn't even end up working on the final pre-launch tweaks until, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. And so I had no idea what to expect. Like, I didn't know how long this process was. I was thinking that it was going to be like, all right, switch this bad boy on, let's go. And no, we had to go through and make sure that everything looks good, take it from being under construction, see how it looked on the phone, see how it looked on a tablet, and check all of these things through. None of which had occurred to me. So I was just sitting there like, oh my God, I hope I still have time to talk about this. And I was kind of freaking out that this was going to end up getting pushed into the next day. It wasn't nearly that bad, but like, when you're thinking it's going to be 15 seconds and it's not 15 seconds, hyperventilate a little bit. But we ran through it all, got it out there, and I went crazy. I mean, I posted in every Facebook group that I was allowed to post in about it. There were other Facebook groups that you don't normally do promos in, but they knew I had it coming up, and they had already said, oh my God, share when you get it done so we can celebrate with you. Oh, don't have to tell me twice. So I posted in there. I did Instagram stories. I posted like everywhere. It posted to my personal Facebook, which I normally don't even talk about my business, but I was like, oh, hey, by the way, new site, what, who dis, go check it out. And so I went crazy. Like I never post that much about my own stuff. And it's still like, even a few weeks later, somebody would be like, so, hey, what do you do? Oh, what do I do? Well, I do this, 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 and I just revamped my website. Oh, you just revamped your website? Yes, I did. Oh, that's quite the undertaking. Yes, it is. You want to see it? And so, like, it's like a new baby. I want everybody to see the pictures of the new baby.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, guess what? I just had a new baby. You want to see? You totally want to see, because babies are cute, right? You want to see this? Yeah. With my site. It's beautiful. You should check it out. Did you know? I mean, like, even the other day, I was in somebody else's group on their office hours, and happened to mention, like, oh yeah, and I just got my, like, it's like the casual drop in. Yeah, and so I just got done with my website. Hey, did you know I just redid my website? You want to see it, right? Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, I'm like still pimping it out.
And what has been the response?
Oh my gosh, people have been so nice about it. Like nothing but good things. They've all been super impressed, as they should be. People have been like, okay, hey, well, how did you do this? Oh, I worked with Amanda Creek. Go check her out. And like I was tagging Amanda Creek on Pinterest, not Pinterest, on Facebook and Instagram and like everywhere. Making sure everybody knows, like, if you want your site to look this amazing, go check out Amanda Creek. So any group that we're in together, I've been making sure to tag her. And it's been great. People have been really, really nice. They've said that it looks terrific, that the pictures are really good, the doodles, because I did doodles for it. Like I did all the things, doodles and font, and not font, logo. That's the word I'm looking for. Did the logo, did little doodles for the different pages, did all of those things. So yeah, it's been a really, really great response.
And how do you feel about it?
Oh my gosh. Like I'm still so proud that I'm doing the casual drop in on people's office hours. So obviously I'm pretty happy with it. And this is like kind of been my push to do better on my business. Like I've literally been telling everybody, okay, I need to get a blog post out. I need to get a YouTube video. I need to do this, this, and this, because I put so much work on this for so many months now that I can't afford to not do a blog post. Like, do you see this? This is nice. This needs some love. This needs some attention. So it's motivating me to be more consistent with my blog than I have been in the past.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear all of the things. So thank you for coming on for my very first recorded case study. I appreciate you doing this with me and sharing your experience.
Yay!